Thank you, Jane. On Spotlight tonight, the third in 2 years. A new interim chief constable is sworn in at Devon and Cornwall Police. With over 30 years' experience, James Vaughan has come out of retirement as investigations continue into the two chiefs before him. Also on the programme this evening, hospital buildings not fit for purpose. A boss at the Royal Cornwall says they're held together with metal bands and is appealing to government to approve plans for a revamp.
I've come to the North Devon coast to surprise this year's unsung sporting hero, and what a deserved winner they are.
Join me later to find out why this Cornish woodland is the very best place to create an international horror film.
Picture perfect, not me, the background. I'm here at RHS Rosemore near Great Turrington, waiting for it to be a bit darker to see the glow.
Devon and Cornwall Police has a new interim chief constable. James Vaughan, who was previously Dorset's chief constable until he retired 3 years ago, was sworn in at a ceremony at police headquarters this afternoon. Our Home Affairs correspondent Ben Wolven is there live for us now. Ben?
Good evening, Victoria. Yes, Devon and Cornwall has been without a chief constable for the last 2 weeks since the suspension of the acting chief constable, Jim Colwell, 14 days ago. And that followed the suspension of the substantive chief constable, Will Kerr, in July last year. As you say, a special ceremony here at police headquarters this afternoon. And I asked the new interim chief constable, James Vaughan, how it felt to be asked to do the job.
I was hugely honoured to be asked. I've been in retirement from policing for the last 3 years. I've been doing other portfolio work. I've been working with the Home Office, been doing some work around safeguarding. This is an encore for me as a Chief Constable. I have much to offer. I've been a Chief Constable in the neighbouring force in Dorset. I was there for 3 years. I've been a Chief Officer for 10 years.
What do you say to people who are feeling worried about whether they can still trust the police?
Well, people can trust the police. I'm going to ask people to judge me on my actions. I know this force very well. I know that the vast majority of the men and women that work tirelessly in this force do a fantastic job and get up every day to do a really good job and to help the public across this peninsula. The stories that have played out in the press over the last few weeks would have rocked confidence. I'm appealing to the public and to the workforce to give me an opportunity to help restore that trust, both in me as a leader who will take the force forward over the next few months, and as the force as a whole.
How do you plan to go about this job? What sort of a chief constable do you want to be?
Well, the work starts tonight. I've been attested by the chair of the bench. I have some work to do this evening. The command team for the force have stayed on this evening and are here for me to talk to them this evening. I shall be working over the weekend in the major policing hubs across the force in both Devon and Cornwall, and on Monday morning I plan to start my day at 6 o'clock in the force control room and work through the force tasking processes. And then in the afternoon, chief officers are going to come together as a command team to begin to look at the immediate plans for moving the force to the level it needs to be at.
The police commissioner, Alison Hernandez, says she was considering more than one person for this post, and I asked her what it was about Mr. Vaughan that impressed her.
Well, fundamentally, he's been a chief constable before, so we are bringing someone into this force who have got the experience of leading a force for a number of years. And I think, interestingly, he's also been working in the southwest region while he was Dorset chief constable, so he has awareness of the regional challenges that we face here. So I'm quite excited by the fact that he's got a very long track record, one I have actually seen personally with my own eyes, of a pace on performance improvement in an organisation. When he was here as deputy for a short while, he actually improved crime data integrity, which is the recording of crime, within 6 months. At the moment, we are in what they call a performance engage mode with His Majesty's Inspectorate. We've been trying to do that for 2 years.
How do you think he will go about doing this job? What sort of a Chief Constable do you think he's going to be?
Well, I think fundamentally what's really important is that he's just frank. There's not a side to him. He is here with a lot of experience that he can bring, and I think he'll be able to build trust very quickly, because to be yourself and to be frank and to not have a side is actually really important as a Chief Constable. Ego often can get in the way, and I think what you'll see here is a genuine human being that is actually trying to use all of his experience to help the other people in this organisation to achieve more than we are at the moment.
The police commissioner said there were no further updates on the investigations into the two suspended chief constables, and she said that those individuals do remain on full pay, and she has written to the Home Secretary asking for more money to help pay their salaries.
Ben Wolven, thank you very much for that update. Next tonight, part of the Royal Cornwall Hospital has been described by one of its bosses as a building held together with metal bands. The RCHT is urging the government to give them the green light as soon as possible to continue building a new women and children's hospital after the programme was put on hold in July. It says the current buildings are not fit for purpose and they're now using contingency money to keep the project on track whilst a decision is made. Our health correspondent Anna Val reports.
A building deemed not fit for purpose.
This building is being held together with metal bands. We're doing another structural survey to show how desperate the condition of this building is. And it should have been end at life about 4 or 5 years ago. It was absolute end of life.
Instead of the cracks and broken windows, it should look like this when the project for a new women and children's hospital gets going again. The plans are state-of-the-art, featuring 6 new operating theatres, 120 beds or cot spaces, and would be built here, right at the heart of the hospital. This is already 4 years in the making. Sites have been cleared, the cancer ward moved, and £15 million spent.
There are also plans to move the cardiology department and the haematology labs and clinics that are behind me.
But since the government pressed the pause button back in July, the Trust says it's had to use its contingency budget to keep it from being mothballed altogether.
I would say there's no concerns about safety. We provide a very high level of care, high level of safety. We make the very best out of the rooms and the theatre facilities that we have in order to facilitate our care, but obviously we would like this to be significantly better.
This is a massive project, bringing services such as maternity, paediatrics and gynaecology all under one roof at a cost of more than £290 million. The aim now is to have it up and running by 2030. But the longer the project is paused, the Trust says the less likely that will happen.
If we start to dismantle the project on the expectation that we will be delayed way beyond the beginning of middle of January, then it's even more money to reassemble the project and bring people back on board.
The Department of Health and Social Care told me it's committed to delivering the new hospital programme. The programme it inherited was years behind schedule and the funding ran out in March. It says it's working up a timeline that will rebuild our NHS to deliver the best possible care for patients.
At the moment, the hospital is holding its nerve, hoping for an announcement by the government in January. Anna Val, BBC Spotlight, Trelisk.
In other news across the southwest this evening, a former Plymouth bus driver has been jailed for 2 years for causing the death of a pedestrian whilst driving his bus. Plymouth Crown Court heard that Simon Mumford was seen on bus CCTV looking at a piece of paper and failed to see Amalia Amalsri crossing the road in front of him in January. Mumford admitted causing death by dangerous driving and has also been disqualified from driving for 6 years. A major scheme to replace defective concrete council houses has taken another step forward. Building workers started on a second phase of homes in North Taunton, which will include flats, bungalows and houses. The overall development will see 230 new council homes built to replace 180 Woolaway homes which have been demolished. New road signs warning of the danger to hedgehogs and other animals will soon be seen in Dorset. The council says it's following a test run in Lyme Regis. Now for a community radio station which has gone nationwide. It's fabulous news for the team, which is giving the disabled community a voice. Based in Exeter, Access All Aerials has just been awarded its DAB licence. The radio station is run by 50 people with disabilities, and Emma Raminsky went to their studios in Marsh Barton to meet some of the team.
Welcome back to the DJ Tubster Fly Solo show here at Access All Aerials.
Georgie Tubb has one of the paid positions at the radio station. A grant from the National Lottery Community Fund has created 2 jobs at Access All Aerials. Georgie is a media mentor and helps train up and support other disabled DJs.
Getting our voices or opinions or whatever across, it's in our own words.
The radio station is run by the charity CEDA, Community Equality Disability Action. It broadcasts 6 days a week to up to 10,000 listeners, but they're hoping to grow that. The DAB licence has given them a national audience and the ability to broadcast disability issues to more people.
Anybody can set up an online radio station, but actually to go through the process of getting it fully licensed, all legal, and available in the cars driving around Exeter city centre or in your kitchen radio, for our presenters, that's a big deal because they're on the same kind of wavelength as Zoe Ball and Greg James and DJs on the national scale.
Oh, that was a good one. Obviously we're on the port.
The shows cater for all tastes in music, but some of their talk radio is the most popular. Georgia Hamer used her show to do a wheelchair accessibility review for a cruise she went on.
Society still kind of ignores the disabled, so that's what I use my show for in particular, to be I am here, I am 30 years old, and I have these complexities, but I would still like to be treated like a 30-year-old and still have access to going on holiday.
Without having these conversations, these reviews, and putting it on things like the radio to then be shared on social media and things, people just don't know about it.
DJ Shrimp in the mix.
It's hoped the DJs will use the station as a stepping stone in their broadcasting careers.
If I had to choose one place to play, would have to be Drumshed, London.
Access All Aerials say they're all about breaking down broadcasting barriers, giving disabled people a voice. Emma Raminsky, BBC Spotlight, Exeter.
Now, it's no surprise that Cornwall has been the location for so many blockbuster movies and TV shows, and there's now a new film hoping to put Cornwall on the filmmaking map once again. Dan Bater managed to get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the film set just outside of Newquay.
And action.
460, take 2.
Horror in a Cornish wood. There's a party going on, but most of the guests are zombies. It's a scene from The Cull, a production that has some famous faces, like Netflix star Craig Russell, who lives in Falmouth.
I'd say 90% of my work is out of the county. So to be here for a good chunk of time, working on a wonderful project like this with the loveliest people, it's a dream. I'm so happy. It's great.
So much about this film is Cornish, and the people on set here say that Cornwall is a really great place to set a horror film.
It's got beautiful woodland, which can also look really quite spooky and spectacular. There's moorland, there's mist, and there's fog, and there's old tin mines. And I'd love to see more productions being made down here. I think it's the ideal location.
What if we just go a touch wider? Cornwall was always in the back of our minds for this project. The crew and cast that's available in Cornwall is unlike anywhere else. There's so many experienced, very qualified and really great crew available here, and cast as well. Probably because of a lot of the TV projects that are rolling throughout the year. Keep your voice down. You brought it up.
Even the wardrobe is as Cornish as it comes, thanks to students from Falmouth University.
Our lecturer sent us a message about the Cull, them needing costume trainees and any help that they could get with sourcing costumes and things like that.
And Falmouth have given loads of the costumes from our wardrobe that we have in the costume design facility. So most of our costumes are used on the set, like the ones we're wearing today, are actually from the costume wardrobe, which is really cool.
If you're not too spooked and hiding behind the sofa right now, The Cull is set to be released in October next year.
Right, people to see, deals to be done.
Hey, you should try the punch. It's my special recipe.
Dan Bater, BBC Spotlight, a creepy cabin near Newquay.
Sport now, and tonight we meet this year's Unsung Hero winner and look ahead to what could be a very tough weekend for our sides. Andy's here.
Thank you, Victoria. Good evening. We'll come to our brilliant Unsung Hero in just a moment, but first, football. And even the most optimistic Plymouth Argyle fan might be a little bit apprehensive about this weekend's trip to Championship leaders Sheffield United. When you compare the two sides, Argyle have the worst away record in the Football League, while their opponents, with former home park favourite Michael Cooper in goal, haven't conceded in 12 hours of football at Bramall Lane, dropping just 2 points all season at home. But you just never know.
We're under no illusion. In order for us to get something out of the game on Saturday, everything has to go right for us. So we're working hard to try and put the players in the best frame of mind, best shape to try and do that.
Something has to give at St James Park, where Exeter City are looking for their first win in 6 against the Barnsley side, who haven't won any of their last 5 games either. On to the rugby now, and the Exeter Chiefs are in European Cup action again this weekend, with reigning champions Toulouse coming to Sandy Park. Their star-studded lineup includes France captain Antoine Dupont, arguably the greatest rugby player on the planet right now. But the Chiefs welcome back an international captain of their own, with Daffyd Jenkins returning from injury for the first time since the Wales summer tour to Australia. While he'll be on the bench on Sunday, this man has a scary task of going head-to-head with Dupont.
No, I think it's more of a excitement that I get to go face-to-face with him on the pitch, and look, he's showed how good he is. He's unbelievable, but I think it's an opportunity for me and our Chiefs boys to go after Toulouse, really, so I think it's more exciting than more nervous, yeah.
Before that, the Chiefs women take their unbeaten record to the Trailfinders, and the Cornish Pirates are up against the Championship's only unbeaten side, Coventry, looking for their 3rd win in a row. OK, now to our Unsung Hero Award, and this year's winner here in the Southwest is someone who dedicates their time to making our beaches and the ocean accessible for all. Ian Bennett is the adaptive surf lead for the Wave Project charity, but spends as much time volunteering each week as he does working. I went up to the North Devon coast to surprise him with a trophy.
The beautiful North Devon coast, enjoyed by many. However, our Unsung Heroes mission is for it to be enjoyed by all.
We're so looking forward to going on the beach, aren't we? Yeah. It's going to be good.
Today, Ian thinks he's coming down to help George get onto the beach, which I suppose is true, but he thinks we've come along to do some filming about Access for All, which was started by George's mum 3 years ago.
Ready, brace, lift.
Ian gives up his time to support this project, as well as the Croyd Surf Lifesaving Club, the England Adaptive Surf Team, and pretty much anything else that helps people onto the beach and into the water.
He's a very modest man, and he's the sort of chap who does remarkable things but never takes any credit for it at all. But you know, without him, we wouldn't have adaptive surfing here. He's developed the process, he's developed the training, he's developed the equipment, and he's constantly looking to try and improve all the time. So a remarkable man, and he does deserve this award.
I think we took George out like 6.5 years ago, and it really showed us how inaccessible beaches are for young people, old people, disabled people. And it's just a game changer, having the equipment that we've sort of built up over the years, and having...
Guys, can we just stop here a second? Because I think it's time we told Ian we've stitched him up. The truth is, we've got you here under slightly false pretences, because for the time you've given up to do the things you do, you have been chosen as our unsung hero for 2024. Congratulations. There you are, mate. Congratulations. Now, it's a bit naughty to spring on you. What are you thinking right now?
I wish I was somewhere else, or in the sea. The sea is looking really nice for surf. So, yeah, really unexpected. I had no idea.
Gotcha. The kindest, most caring, passionate person I know. They're not just a team that enables him to get in the ocean, they have become friends of his, they know him inside out. Ian sometimes pops around the house to come and see him in his spare time and just check that he's okay. What he's doing for adapted surfing in this country is just amazing, and he just spends all of his time doing it.
It's so nice to have my family see me as well. I spend a lot of time away from them doing all the stuff that I do. So yeah, just them being part of this award as well, because without them I wouldn't be delivering this either. I think it's nice to be recognised for the work that still going to say that we are doing. It's yours now, George. It's just a brilliant team that enables the beach to be so much more accessible to people, and surfing in general. We all get a buzz out of surfing, and I think everybody should be entitled to a go at that.
Well, a very worthy winner. I think once he got over the initial shock of it all, I think he did enjoy the surprise.
I think the moral of the story is if you turn up on someone's doorstep, be suspicious.
I'm saying nothing.
Thanks, Andy. Now, yesterday we heard that a skinny Christmas tree is the latest fashion, but we thought we'd take the temperature and ask you for your thoughts. And you certainly delivered with some fabulous pictures of your festive trees of all shapes and sizes. Now, we don't have a long enough programme to show them all, so here is just a tiny selection. You need that tree a little bit further over, just in front of the telly. Well, thank you for sharing your Christmas tree pictures, and sorry we can only show just a few this evening. But now from your lights to a spectacular display in North Devon. Johnny Rutherford has been checking out the illuminations, bringing a lot of colour to the gardens at RHS Rosemore.
I've got to say I'm really pleased to be back here again because this is my favourite lights over the Christmas period. It takes about 45 minutes to an hour to walk around here, and it's just beautiful everywhere.
So we're really excited about Glow this year. All of the features, as ever, are new. They change every year. But I think the thing that people don't realise is that the installations themselves are inspired by the gardens. This, for example, is been commissioned especially to replicate the blossom of wisteria.
Yes, it looks a bit like it, I can see that, yeah.
And what's interesting is that every single one of those lights is the same, but when you view them at a different angle, they look like different colours. It's really clever.
So willow beds and allium heads, which you can see behind us, the inspiration for the shapes came from research and spending time here in the gardens. Allium's obviously a beautiful summer flower, and then the circular planting came from the way that gardens cut lawns and then place statement trees into grass areas. One of the challenges with large open lawn areas is creating a visual interest in the foreground. We've achieved that with carpeted colour, which has taken its inspiration from the interlocking root network between the different trees that are on the lawn.
So another highlight of the trail this year is this winter sculptures exhibition that we have on. This is a sculpture by a Royal Budget called Rosie. So clever with those shadows.
It's such a reveal, isn't it? Because it doesn't look like dancers until you see up close. It looks completely different.
Yes, it's really lovely to get through to this other side of the garden that we've not used on the trail before.
This is my favourite bit because you really get in the atmosphere here. It's so peaceful, it's beautiful. Johnny Rutherford, BBC Spotlight, Great Torrington.
Absolutely stunning. Wish we could have lights like that all times of the year. Let's have a look at the weather forecast now and what the weekend holds ahead. David?
Not too bad. A bit warmer, I think, is the story. Thank you, Victoria. Hello, good evening. Yes, we've had some relatively cold air over the last couple of days. We've had relatively calm seas as well. More of a breeze developing over the next 24 hours or so, and we get westerly winds. They will eventually bring with it a higher temperature. So that really is the forecast for the weekend ahead. It's a bit of a mixture. I think tonight we'll see some showers. They'll be around tomorrow morning, and then sunny spells developing into the afternoon. Sunday is generally rather cloudy, although there may be some morning sunshine across parts of Somerset and Dorset, but it will cloud over quickly. But it is milder because we've got westerly winds coming in off the Atlantic. That's the big satellite picture. There is quite a bit of cloud across the southwest now. It's thickish cloud as well. it is producing a few spots of rain. At the same time, we've got a cold front drifting down from the northwest. That brings with it some showers, which will be with us tomorrow morning, although they do move away quite swiftly, and a better chance to see some sunny spells as we go into the afternoon. But following that, there is a warm front that heralds the change to temperatures back up into double figures. So this is the forecast for Sunday. Notice where the high pressure is by Sunday. Now, all week we've had the high pressure to the north of us and easterly winds. We've now got the high pressure to the south of us, and we've got westerly and then eventually southerly winds developing. And particularly by the time we get to Tuesday, quite a brisk southwest wind developing, and a new area of low pressure that will bring some rains Tuesday night into Wednesday, but it also brings the milder air. Look at the change in the colours there. That's temperatures up to 14, maybe even 15 degrees by the time we get to the middle of the week. After Wednesday, though, you'll notice there's a bit of blue up here. Now, potentially some of that could be heading our way Thursday and Friday of next week. Now, there are lots of variations on the model at the moment, so we're not completely sure, but it could turn a little bit colder in the second half of next week, but probably not cold enough for the white stuff. Let's look at the showers that we've had through this evening and overnight tonight. They'll still be around tomorrow morning. There will be some brief breaks in the cloud overnight tonight, and temperatures similar to what we've seen recently, 4, 5, 6 degrees the minimum temperature. But a freshening northwest wind will be the feature of the weather for tomorrow. Then we'll see a scattering of showers. Mostly those will become very isolated after lunchtime. And actually, second half of the day, although it's only a short afternoon with some sunshine, it is possible to see sunny spells tomorrow, but increasing amounts of high-level cloud will drift in from the west. Temperatures tomorrow will be higher, but it'll take time before we finally reach double figures. 9, maybe 10 degrees for Cornwall. Elsewhere, 8 or 9, I think, will be the highest we can expect. For the Isles of Scilly here, I think there will be some very early showers, and they're mostly fine, but increasingly cloudy in the second half of the day. The other noticeable feature is the change in wind direction. Northwest winds developing, and they will be blowing quite strong by the end of the afternoon. These are our times of high water. Falmouth 3:53 and 16:17. Portland 5:19 and 17:52. So let's look at that coastal waters forecast, because the winds do pick up through the day tomorrow. It's a northwest wind. It'll be able to force 4, occasionally 5, with showers. Generally good visibility out at sea, but the sea becomes a little bit more choppy compared to what we've seen for the last 2 days. Here's the outlook. It is unsettled into the weekend and out the other side. Look at that high temperature on Wednesday. When I say high, 14 degrees, that's quite a bit above the average for the time of year. A little bit cooler Thursday and Friday, and also becoming quite windy, really from Tuesday night through to the end of next week. Have a nice weekend. Back to you.
Thank you, David. Ollie Yates will bring you the late news at 10:30 this evening. That's it from the Spotlight team, though. Have a wonderful weekend. Good night.